Right? Like I was trying to figure out what other qualities would indicate to you that a woman is more likely to be a very, very temporary scenario because of the high probability that she's looking for multiple guys. Right?
Yeah, I just think that to me it's pretty obvious. If I'm dating, fairly early, the woman shows her cards about how kind of like emotionally mature she is.
Oh.
And how kind of just generally responsible and mature she is. And if she's low in those categories, then she is not partnership material. And I think I can tell really quickly.
Warning. This podcast is for entertainment only and not intended for medical purposes.
Enter the Freud.
How do you, what skill have you acquired? How do you do this?
Honestly, it's just, it's a lot of things. Probably the easiest is just kind of how responsible and clear and upfront and straightforward they are about communication and scheduling, you know? Like, let me just give you 2 examples. Let's
Perfect.
say you're on a dating app, and even while you're still on the app, honestly, sometimes you can just tell by the pictures in the fucking bio. But via communication on the dating app with a mature, quality person, she texts back like regularly and with predictable frequency. She's clear about setting up. Like the next communication is clear, setting up the date is clear. She actually shows up to the date when she says she does. At the date, you can tell she's clear and responsible. You talk about what you're going to do next time, and then she does what she says she's going to do, you know?
Oh.
It's like, oh, hey, I liked you. You want to go out again? Cool. When are you available? Okay, next Tuesday. All right, cool. And just like the communication is very reliable and predictable. And these days, that sounds like
The bar's
like a low bar.
The bar's pretty low, I would say.
Yeah, but,
right.
but most people don't clear that low bar. That's how pathetic it is. Most people, it's super flaky. You never know if and when they're going to get back to you. The timing, the scheduling is just like flaky. And those people generally are low quality, not worthy of worrying about the whole partnership thing. That just becomes like booty call game, arms race bullshit.
Oh, okay. So then that's how you would put, you'd select like the majority of people into that kind of a category. Like if they were super attractive and for whatever reason you still want to hang out with them, you would just have to navigate this wishy-washy kind of a let's see how we can get together. Fumbling along.
Yeah, and if I'm single, because I generally prefer to be in a relationship, okay, but let's say I'm single. Basically what I'm doing is ultimately I'm trying to find a good woman to be in a relationship with, but I know that I'm going to have to weed through tons of not good options until I find the good one, right? And so in the meantime, I'll do the arms race game, booty call. It's just kind of like playing a game. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's kind of fun. And if you just see it for what it is, which is like, this is kind of a dumb metaphor, but it's like a box of chocolates and you're tasting all these different chocolates and there's 1,000 chocolates and there's one you're looking for. But in the meantime, you're going to kind of taste them and be like, oh, well, that one has orange filling. That's kind of interesting. I'm not really wanting that, but it's just kind of like a fun little thing. And eventually you'll find the one. It takes a while.
Wow. That's a nice optimistic look, but there's also something like, I mean, your attitude is optimistic, but the process does not sound like desirable. That you're going to have to hunt through lots and lots of ones that are potentially, if you select them, if you read it incorrectly, you're going to feel ripped off and you're going to feel cheated on and you're going to feel
right. But so that's why you got to adjust. You can't be you got to be expecting this shittiness. And if you expect the shittiness, then the game can be fun. And then when you finally do find a good one, it's sweet.
Yeah.
And honestly, because to be honest, I mean, we got to be honest about the both sides. If you're looking for a high quality person, then the other thing that's going to happen is you're going to go out on dates with women and they like you, but you don't like them. And then you're going to be one of the shitty people to them.
Oh. You mean that, what, like, in the end, you're going to have to kind of just slide them gradually? Like, when they contact you, hey, you want to hang?
You're going to end up, like, breaking a bunch of hearts.
Yeah.
And all those chicks are going to think you're one of the shitty assholes out there in the world.
Well, that's unfortunate. Do you think that's avoidable at all? How could you do that?
Not really.
How could you?
I don't think it's a...
But what if on the date, like on the date, you start to realize, like, oh no, this one is definitely just not right. There's, she tells you about a story of her dad is in federal prison for some kind of giant thing, and you're like, ooh, well, I kind of suddenly feel like I don't really want to be in this family.
Yeah,
that's
some
a
of
crazy...
them will be like that. Some of them will be like that, and if you're a really big person, you'll just tell her right there and then. But a lot of them are going to be in this middle ground. I'll give two different examples. The one is the more obvious. A middle ground where she's super hot, you haven't had sex in 6 months, you'd really like to have sex with her, but you kind of know you don't really want to be in a long-term relationship with her. And she's been a pain in the ass, and you've already invested a lot of time and work just to get her fucking stupid ass to come out on a date, and you're dressed up nice, and you're spending $200 on this date, and you're flirting, and she's hot, and you're turned on, and like, I don't know if it's all men's duty to not have sex with her because you don't want to be in a long-term relationship. That's an interesting question. Okay, but that's just one category.
Yeah.
The other category, which is even more difficult, is she's attractive, she's cool, you think kinda, you're like, I don't know, I think there might be hope here. So you go out on a few dates with her, and then at some point, here's a really good example. She's cool, she's smart, she's fun, she's attractive, and you go out on 5 dates with her. On the 5th date, you have sex, and the sex just fucking sucks for some reason. She's just like limp, dead fish,
Oh.
And you have sex. But then the next day, you're like, oh, fuck, I think I got to call this off. And so you call it off. And I don't think you've done anything wrong at that point, but you just broke her fucking heart. And now she thinks you're a fucking awful bastard.
What? So just because the first time you had sex with her, it was ridiculous, like, you don't think you would try to do it again and just be like, all right, lady, here's the deal.
Yeah, and let's say you do it again and it's just as bad, and you do it a third time, it's just as bad. So then you break up. Now you're even worse than if you just broke up with her after the first time. And there's 100 other things like that it's just, dude, dating is just fucking, there's heartbreak in it. And when someone breaks someone's heart, that they think that other person's a horrible fucking abusive asshole.